We are live, pal. And hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, joined back this week, Jedi Jason Kruger, and got a lot to talk about. Is WrestleMania, biggest wrestling weekend of my life, is coming. But thank God there's some other wrestling stuff going on because, it's going to be one of those ranting episodes. But I digress. If you've never seen this show before, it's the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. Jedi and myself have been watching wrestling together for around 15 years at this point. We love wrestling. We love talking wrestling. We love sharing our love of wrestling with other wrestling fans like you guys, the viewers. But we're not insiders. Our opinions carry no more weight than yours. We're fans just like you because we're not insiders. At the end of the day, we are just two marks. We try not to use insider terms because, well, we haven't got the right to use those because we're just fans. And we're going to rant like a couple angry fans. We're going to teeter on that line of being, as I take the old computer. Oh, shit. Here we go.
Technical difficulties, please stand by.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Wish I had that music, but yeah. So, yeah, it's, yeah. What's up, Ray? Thanks for coming to the show. We'll go ahead and get to Raw thoughts, but you probably know...
Going Raw.
That's not our show.
You know, like all the good lines have been turned into shows.
Yeah.
I quit.
No, don't quit. I can't do a wrestling discussion one-sided. I see you, Rick.
See, this is in JC's defense here. All the good stuff's already taken, so all that's left.
We start off with Heyman and Lesnar saying...
Hey, yeah, they teased me for 2 whole seconds with McIntyre, coming out and staring at Brock before just saying, yeah, I could kill Seth Rollins for you. But, all I was hearing in my head was, hey, McIntyre could fight Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, it'd still be pretty cool, but it was a decent little segment. They end up, McIntyre lays Rollins out.
No,
I'm hoping that this I'm hoping this just leads to a singles match with McIntyre and Roman because it keeps Roman out of the title match.
Yeah.
Which is...
That seems like the direction they're going. You said that wrong, though. He laid out McIntyre. Rollins had a chair.
You
said McIntyre laid out Rollins.
But the one long-haired guy laid out another long-haired guy. You all look alike.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's Brock Lesnar.
Eric, welcome to the show, and thanks for stepping in last week.
Let's examine his opponents over the last few years. Maybe Lesnar's actual weakness is long-haired opponents.
Maybe.
Oh, no, wait. WrestleMania last year. Roman Reigns. He lost. He had long hair. Never mind. I tried.
Of course someone's wearing HBK. Yeah, that's right, because he's like the best. He's better than, he's the true best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Oh, snap. Hot takes here.
So anyways, yeah. Sorry for my hosting there on that little...
all of our Ontario viewers just...
All the wrestlers who were marks for themselves.
That's right.
Just turned away. All the wrestlers who screwed themselves.
Ooh. Hey, we don't judge what you do in your personal life.
Got the Erics in town tonight. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, so go on from that to a tag match. Decent little tag match.
Our Bobby Lashley thing continues.
Yeah, well, I guess.
With some Strowman thrown in. By the way, did Strowman not say that he's going to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? I think he did.
Which
is like, wow.
It's kind of one of those, like, So, like, what is Finn Balor going to get a rematch for his Intercontinental title at WrestleMania? Are we going to have a triple threat with, what the?
I've heard people theorizing he might bring out the Demon, and I'm like, that'd be about just as lame as when he did it for Baron Corbin at SummerSlam. Like, we all like seeing the Demon entrance, but it cheapens it to the point of why.
Yeah.
I mean, last year he was in a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship. He didn't feel.
Maybe he can actually be the Demon this year and win.
Yeah.
It's to the point right now, and we'll talk. I'm sure this will get brought up several times throughout this episode. That WWE in their build to WrestleMania, it's almost like the video game versions, where it's like you don't know what's gonna happen yet, and we are that fucking close. So, yeah. It's, Chris Jericho is great. He's just not as good as Shawn Michaels. Yeah, I'm letting Easy, letting Easy know. So that's where I'm not just randomly going off on people. Like I randomly went off on some overrated woman that thinks she's the boss that one time.
Just two trolls.
Alright, now we'll stop. We gotta get down to some serial business here, you guys. Good match. It's a good little match. Well, you have three good wrestlers in there, Well, obviously, Finn and Leo were probably the ones that are more my style. Mm-hmm. Lashley is a great big man, and Braun's a great giant, so, I mean, it wasn't, the greatest thing ever, but it was decent. Then we have a moment of bliss, which again, why the fuck is Alexa Bliss the host for, why do we need hosts for WrestleMania anymore? It was okay for, The Rock that year to kind of figure out a way to integrate him in, but, every other time it's just kind of been dumb.
New Day didn't overstay their welcome when they did it 2 years ago, so it was kind of fine, especially when they tricked us, and you thought they were going to put themselves into the ladder match, and they're like, the Hardys, and you're like,
yeah, that was cool, but still it was just kind of what?
I know.
But why though?
It's the consolation prize.
But why though?
You, but we don't know what to do with you.
So
she's had 2 matches since the Royal Rumble.
I wonder if she's
dubious as to whether she's actually still an active wrestler at this point.
Elias comes out, beats No Way Jose, everything. It was very, very forgettable.
Well, you said the word No Way Jose, so I mean, sorry, dude.
And then we have, well, let's do the good first. Okay, it wasn't as good as it could have been, but it was good. We get somewhat of a dream match that ends up not being, not being as good as we thought it would be, which is what makes this here, retirement just all kinds. We have Chad Gable versus Kurt Angle. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, right.
And what was a dream match, but it just kind of was because I love Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is one of my all-time favorites. I'd say he's in my top 5 favorites of all time. When I wrestled in high school, I had a picture of Kurt Angle at the medal stand in my wrestling locker. And so Kurt Angle means a lot to me, and it means the world that I get to experience what needs to be his last match. What needs to be.
Yeah.
Because if him and Chad Gable are not doing well together, then we got some issues. And I hate the fact that I have to say that about Kurt Angle. It kills me. But the man is 50 years old, and now we're seeing all these years he was able to, when he was being held up by pins and needles, be the showstopper in TNA and be the Kurt Angle we know he was. Have a match with a broken neck against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19. We're seeing this as all at once catching up with Kurt Angle.
Yep.
So After this, it made me go like, all right, cool, yay, he's last match. Give him somebody good, and he can go out like the legend that Kurt Angle should be.
My poor wife, every time she sees him, she cringes. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. Look at his mouth. He's going to die.
Remember when I said...
Remember what I just said? Because, like you said, it's all caught up with him at once. So.
But remember what I just said? Put him in there with somebody good?
Yes, put him in there with somebody good so we can at least have something of
Yay, Kurt, yay. They did the fucking opposite! They put him in there with a bad wrestler with no redeeming fucking qualities.
I mean, you all want to bitch about Roman Reigns retiring The Undertaker? Except then he didn't. But, I mean, I will take that 50 times over.
then fucking Baron Corbin has zero. He might be a nice guy backstage. He might be just a swell individual, and if he is, that's so fucking awesome because there's a lot of assholes in the pro wrestling business. He's not good in the ring. He has no charisma. There's nothing about this guy where I'm like, cool. He has no upside. He has no wealth. If you turn him good or if you turn him bad, then he's not like Roman in the sense of as much as I dislike Roman Reigns. Mm-hmm. Well, if they made him a villain, I'd like it'd make more sense and I could get behind him being used. Baron Corbin has shit. It better be a fucking swerve. That's what you're saying in the comments. It better be a swerve because it sucks. Because Baron Corbin sucks. But if you're letting him go out with a disappointment like Baron Corbin, it's like you said before we went live, it is the embodiment of Kurt Angle's wrestling return.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a disappointment. And that kills me on the inside to say.
Yeah. I mean, literally since the Hall of Fame and then he came back and was being GM and all that, the only bright spot really for me was the Ronda Rousey mixed tag at WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's here. There's not a lot I'm going to agree with you on, but that's one of them. He might be a good person, and God bless him for that. But yeah, no.
You know what's unfortunate? His entrance music's actually quite good.
I guess from a storyline perspective, it does make sense that he would want to wrestle Baron Corbin, but your last fucking match, no Cena?
Yeah.
You say it's a swerve. I hope you're right. I hope it is a swerve. I hope that there is. I hope something happens. Because this is bad.
And I'm pathetic compared to Flair, Michaels, hell, even Undertaker. At least that was squandered, but still, at least that served a purpose. Man, that was the time to turn Roman villain.
It should have just happened. He's getting booed out of the building and bragging about ending the career of a legend. That is not a fucking hero. But I digress. That's something else to rant about on many past episodes.
Documentary level rant.
But it's stupid. It's stupid to squander this. I don't know what WWE sees in that man, but I don't, and nobody else will see it. And I've made the joke before in the past that Sasha Banks is the answer to the question that no one asked.
Yeah, that's much more appropriate.
It's much more appropriate for Baron Corbin. But Sasha's right there. Am I holding out for a hero? I'm not holding out. I'm just wishing that they do it different. But, whatever. I got 3 good shows. I have 1 mediocre show, and I'll have this bad one, so it'll be all good. So Beth Phoenix has come out of retirement. Speaking of Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Beth Phoenix is coming out of retirement, so her and Natalya can challenge the Boss and Hug Connection for the women's tag titles. It's not going to be a bathroom break, but it's...
I don't think it's just going to be them.
At least the people that Natty and Beth are, good.
Yeah.
Unlike,
I don't think it's going to be a one-on-one, though, because they've.
It's going to be a tag title match.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's going to be 2 teams. I think it's going to be 4 teams.
Well, at least with adding them in there, you have more people who are good to kind of eliminate Nia Jax and Tamina, who...
And the Iconics.
Are also not good. Well, the Iconics are good, though.
They're all right. They're all right. I
mean, I'm
they're
never...
more entertaining to watch than Nia Jax and Tamina are, that's for darn sure.
Should be Orton, maybe. Give AJ... yeah, I just... No, I want AJ to have a new opponent, but I don't really care for Randy Orton to be replacing them, so... It's just kind of whatever. Eric Way.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Let's have Orton and
Styles.
That was I loved their back and forth the other week.
And it's like, it's real for Randy Orton because he was at St. Louis Comic Con ranting about how he dislikes New Japan and dislikes the Indies, and someone asked about Kenny Omega, and he kind of, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, so we're not even in the SmackDown portion yet, but someone asked about Kenny Omega and Okada, and he just kind of said, for all the dangerous stuff they did, I made more money than both of them, so what was the point of it? So he's very much one of those, he's very much a WWE elitist, and it makes sense in the concept of the story, which is why, and again, we're getting ahead of ourselves, why I'm picking Randy Orton to win that match in our pick'ems. With the head, not the heart, but, little spoiler for our pre-WrestleMania pick'em, the night before I get on an airplane.
Right.
So yeah. I mean, it's whatever. Sasha and Natty had a match. It was decent. It is what it is. And then we have somebody who's really good versus somebody who's really terrible. And it made the person who's really good look really terrible because the other person is that fucking bad.
You're not wrong. It's just so funny.
Jinder Mahal loses to Ricochet in the worst Ricochet match I've ever seen.
If he was just born like 20 years sooner, he'd have been fine.
I don't know if you really need to do an invasion because I feel like both of those names still need to be on the NXT brand. They're not ready for prime time yet, but since they're floating belts, I could say that would maybe make sense for them to get a shot on pay-per-view, but no, they still need to be on the NXT brand. They're not ready for a call-up yet. The only one out of them is, that's ready for a call-up is Shayna. So, there you go.
Yeah. No.
My opinion.
I've seen Duke and Shafir. They're not really it.
So, I mean, it was a squash kind of match, but still, whatever. And then we have Ronda Rousey versus...
Speaking of squashes.
We have Ronda Rousey versus Dana Brooke, which I don't like. I don't really care about Dana Brooke and, Rousey, whatever. My reasons for disliking her, have nothing to do with the wrestling, so I keep those opinions out of a show like this. But, you know what? Having her just destroy Dana Brooke, it makes sense, especially going into this. So, squash, but still good,
I mean, yeah, it's Dana's role in the company, so,
it needed to happen. It gives Ronda more momentum before the main event at WrestleMania. Whatever. It's good. Whatever. And then we have Kurt Angle's final opponent versus Apollo Crews. Then Apollo Crews promptly goes and beats Baron Corbin, which is a great way to build up somebody shitty going into a Hall of Famer's retirement match.
Beat Apollo Crews last week, right?
Yeah.
In his hometown. So now Corbin's like, well, I could beat Apollo Crews too, and then he didn't even beat Apollo Crews. So, yeah.
Yeah. So whatever. Very good interview from Batista.
So, here's my question. If real quick before we get into that, if this is not a swerve and we're actually having Angle versus Baron Corbin, who's winning? Please don't say Corbin.
Yeah. Go out on your back, man.
Yeah, I mean...
Go out on your back. I'm going to go out as a complete shit show, but I'm going to be in tears chanting thank you, Kurt, at the end of it. Yeah.
Anyway, so Batista. Oh, yeah.
Batista has a... He does a good little promo explaining why he's wanting to come after Triple H.
The
Good promo, good interview. So I broke my own rule there. But
Separates didn't attack them. They're saying, what if they did?
no, he said, "What if they did?" Yeah, this is an idea.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm all for having them in there, but I think they're going to be a little bit busy with the NXT Women's Championship the night before, or 2 nights before. But I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
They're both in the NXT Women's Championship.
I feel like they should. I feel like next year they need to make their WrestleMania debut though, because when you're in a football stadium for the Buccaneers, you're going to integrate. That's got to be integrated somehow. And Paul Burchill should make a return for that one. Yes.
Fair enough. Plus, I mean, especially if they call it Baszler, they kind of need those other two to stay down there right now until they build up a division again.
Yeah, but it's a good interview from Batista. My dislike to him aside, he's doing good work. Since he's become a real actor, his interviews have gotten a lot better.
Shock, right?
Yeah, since he's gotten a lot better at that since his
basketballs don't hold grudges.
Since his old days of basketballs don't hold grudges. All dressed up, got my new suit on, got my new shoes on. Bam! As he said, weapons are not only encouraged, or weapons are not only welcomed, they're allowed. That's another good Batista interview right there. My game plan, destroy everything. All right, yeah, okay, so you're not going there.
I believe I mentioned it once before on here, but it just...
Worst town ever, Chicago, but that's besides the point.
Really amused me when they said the reason Batista was able to sneak into Flair's dressing room is because he stood very still.
Yes. Can't be seen. Can't be seen. So, yeah. Good.
When he had the World Heavyweight Championship, could you have ever pictured him being in a James Bond film, being in a Marvel?
No, because it was that was one of my big criticisms of him is he's not that great of a wrestler. And his interview, he was big, but he's become a professional actor. He's taken some good acting classes, and hey, he's pretty good. McIntyre defeats Seth Rollins, halting the momentum. Probably making it so they could make it a fatal 4-way or a triple threat match. But still a good match, and McIntyre beats Rollins, and yeah. So hopefully that means
McIntyre hurts my head.
Yeah.
They have him destroy Angle horribly. It's wow, and then they kind of have him hang out with Baron Corbin for 2 months, and now he's back to destroying people.
Yeah.
Oh,
it would be awesome, and it won't happen because now that Roman's back, to me, I think it's just going to be full steam ahead. We'll get more into that, but what would be cool, in my heart this would be cool, but I know it's not going to happen. Have Rollins beat Lesnar for the title, have McIntyre come in, have McIntyre beat Roman on WrestleMania, have Rollins win the title, and then the next night on Raw, after this big moment, McIntyre beats Rollins 24 hours later. That would be awesome. And it'd send McIntyre into the stratosphere. But when we get to prediction show, I'll talk more about what I actually believe is going to happen. So, yeah. That would be awesome if he enters with the Guardians of the Galaxy. That'd be pretty sweet. And then after that, I'll promptly go to the merch table because I really don't care about the match. I'm probably going to have I'm on tailgate before the show, so I'm probably going to have a lot of alcohol in my system, so I might need to go to the bathroom. And that was Raw. And besides the main events, and ironically, Dave Batista, very, very bad show. It wasn't that good. Yeah. So, yeah.
WrestleMania's coming up. Woo!
Woo.
I have a hard time believing it's so close.
Alright, so we come to our Smackdown thoughts.
I haven't actually seen his interview. I probably need to go back and look at it because I heard Miz knocked it out of the park.
Miz had a good interview. He had a good interview. I can't be completely a hater. However, this is still... And it's going to come across as I'm wanting to be a hater and, But and that this totally isn't my intention. This is me just trying to really think about the situation. He had a really good interview. Can that be sustained?
Good question.
You know, you can have a good interview and not sustain being able to be a heroic character for the duration. That was my question after I had this. I can't sit here and say that Miz can't be a good guy anymore, but can he maintain it?
He also could have considered his foil, though, especially in this particular grudge feud. It's Shane McMahon, who his in-ring style relies on things that are going to get people to cheer.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe he should
not
take a note out of the Mick Foley book and not do them.
I agree, but then what does he do? Hit them with real punches the whole match?
Well,
I mean,
his great looking punches.
I was listening to one of the insiders that said he's the worst of both worlds because his punches actually hurt and look bad. The exact opposite of what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how they do that at Mania. How that match goes. Because, I mean, you know, AJ Styles and Shane McMahon, sure. Miz and Shane McMahon, we'll see.
Shane McMahon being there with the returning Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shane McMahon having a cell to do shit with. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But who knows? It's
they're brave. That's all I can say.
I don't know.
They're brave.
But that's what happened there. Good, you know, good interview. I can't sit here and I'm not going to just shit on something because it's fun to shit on it. He did a great job. With all respect, can it be maintained? Because you can have this great interview, and then 2-3, after this is over, are people going to get behind you? You know, when you're wrestling a cool bad guy like, you know. Give me one. New on SmackDown. I'm trying to think right. When you're wrestling Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
When you're wrestling, you know, Rusev, you gonna be able to keep that up, or are they gonna boo you out of the building? Mm-hmm. That remains to be seen. But props to the Miz here. Yeah. Then we have Boston Hug Connection versus the Iconics. The Iconics win this one, and you know, kind of
basically
good match.
Slots them in for
good match. Yeah.
Probably.
The Kevin Owens show with Becky Lynch and Charlotte.
I don't even want to hear those names anymore.
And that's bad.
Freaking unbelievable how.
It's like you said. It's like they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
But the best thing. And this is just props, and this is why Becky Lynch is the best wrestler in WWE right now. If you're not aware, Charlotte tweeted out a picture of herself with Miss WrestleMania, MS WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. And without skipping a beat, the man tweets right back at her, "We all wish you would." And that was a slow burn, fucking awesome. I was laughing at it for hours. I was sending it to my friends who had to think about it. And then when it finally hit them, they realized that Becky's fucking awesome.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, so props there. I have not seen that, but that would be even better. That would be even better if she was wearing a Los Ingobernables hat. But yeah, it wasn't a bad segment, but it's just kind of like this main event feud is feeling like the universe mode on a WWE 2K game. And we gotta have a call-out interview, and a call-out interview, and a call-out interview, and a call-out interview. And that's what you do up until WrestleMania. And it's whatever. Daniel Bryan comes out. Yeah, I don't like how he's the one calling other people B+ players because
yeah,
it's just kind of like, even if he is a bad guy now, and even if it just feels like we had Charles in charge, who did our did that one episode with us. He mentioned in a private chat with us that it would have been better for this. You kind of have the confliction in ideals because the New Day is all about consumerism and marketability, but then you have him and his hippie the HWO, the hippie world order, and then like, this is why you're killing the world, and then have Kofi and the New Day, no, we're inspiring kids, we're having we're helping kids have a good time, and you can have these really like, who cares, they're having a good time, they're gonna be a world, and you can have these really Brian just essentially becoming the authority. I'm not a huge fan of.
I see what you mean there.
I get it's a means to an end. I get it's to build up sympathy for Kofi. I get it's to make Kofi a big underdog for quite possibly a big moment. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's kind of like, it felt... There was it feels like just the easy road when there was this kind of unknown road that, could have gone for miles, or it could have just, stopped really quickly. But it felt like creatively it would have been better. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion on the whole thing. Actually, I hear that Becky Lynch is dating Seth Rollins, but, but that's not what we talk about on this show. How about Becky attacking Charlotte backstage at Mania, making sure she didn't step outside the stage? Man, you like people just getting attacked for no reason going backstage. At this point, I'd like Becky just to be one-on-one, but at this point, with the way they've hyped it, that would rub me the wrong way, if that were to happen.
That makes sense, yeah.
You've hyped up the match, just fucking do it now so we can, fucking put a fucking pin in all this shit when it's done. I say make it a fucking elimination match, so that way you can't go, yeah, but you didn't pin me! Dude, it's just... Mm-hmm. The only thing that keeps me excited about this match is it's Becky. Yeah. And that's it. It's just kind of...
Yeah, I know.
Becky's greatness is what's keeping this good. Mm-hmm. But, so we start the Gauntlet of Kofi. And starts with Sheamus. It was good. And then we go to Cesaro. And it was also good. Then we get to Rowan. And it was okay.
It was a means to an end.
It was a means to an end. And I like Rowan. And then we go to Samoa Joe. And it was awesome. And we go Randy Orton. And it was decent. And we think, hooray! Hooray!
That's right. He did it against all odds.
Woo! What a match! And then the equivalent of, you finally getting, past the last boss and thinking, hooray, we did it. And then the computer goes, oh, wait! You got another super boss! It's like, did you play the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game?
Yes.
When you finally beat Carnage and you think, hooray! It's over! And then you get Carnage Ock and you gotta...
You better run, boy!
And you better fucking run! And it's fucking hard!
Yeah,
this is the wrestling equivalent of what happened here.
That's the point in the game where the camera just turns on you.
And you're like, what the fuck? So, yes. And Kofi falls to Daniel Bryan, and then they had a WWE.com, and it was a great match. And if we get half of that at WrestleMania,
right.
Seriously, or just imagine what they can do with more time at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. There was a a interview on WWE.com with the members of the New Day in their locker room, and they're just kind of thinking, we've hit our ceiling, let's just quit. So I'm wondering how that's going to be elaborated on next week. It's kind of, as much as I said I'm not a fan of, like, Bryan becoming the authority and stuff like this, Bryan being the authority and being, like, Vince McMahon's, like, puppet doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
But these guys kind of, the New Day kind of thinking, like, hey, we've been pigeonholed. That's, that is interesting to me. Now, while I thought that, the whole consumerism versus save the world thing would be a much better, more interesting storyline.
Yeah, you could do so much more.
What kind of the interviews the New Day's given, and like Big E saying to Kofi, like, go back home to your go back home to your kids now. Go back home. It's time to go home for your family. You've hit your peak. We've hit our peak. Let's just go home. Interested. I don't know how to feel about it, but I'm interested. I don't know if they're gonna have. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm interested to see where that goes on SmackDown. And I almost forgot, earlier in the show there was an AJ Styles interview, and it was okay. It wasn't AJ's. AJ said he wasn't, he's a walk-on and not even a first-time. It was okay. It's just keep you interested. It wasn't, definitely wasn't as good as the last one.
Well, I mean, it'd be
but that was pretty damn good, so. That would be so fucking stupid if they did that. I'm sorry. I just, like... Why? That's like just because that's something that's just a big pet peeve of mine. It's like if one person from a tag team or a stable gets single success, gotta break them up! Why can't they just stay together, only one of them have some singles success? Right. Like... I mean, but it's so dumb and so silly and so stupid, WWE's probably going to do it. So there you go.
Shoot.
So we go to NXT news, which we got...
I'm not opposed to an evil Big E, but just not like that. I mean...
Maybe continue to build to that, slow burn that shit.
Make a year out of it.
Exactly. Jealousy keeps kind of bubbling over, like, Kofi got his moment, and Big E's gonna win Money in the Bank, and he doesn't do it, or Big E, or when Kofi challenges to Big E's gonna challenge, and then he doesn't, and you slow burn, and Kofi eliminates Big E from the Royal Rumble next year, and that's like a heel turn. A heel turn like that would be like some good fucking sex. Right. This is like getting Big E turning heel. Turning villain at WrestleMania is like just kind of getting your nut off in 2 minutes. But I digress. We have
2 minutes, more like 30 seconds.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I'm sorry, it would be pretty lame.
So we go to NXT real quick because it's getting close to TakeOver.
Oh yeah, right.
You like Bryan and Wyatt? Whatever. It's whatever.
Speaking of people who are still employed.
Yeah, where the fuck is Bray Wyatt? So NXT.
So Ciampa's out. Hopefully he'll be back in a year or so, maybe.
Johnny Gargano's still, I guess, is still in there, but we have a five-way match that Adam Cole wins. So despite WrestleMania looking kind of with the G1 Supercard turning into the G1 Average card, especially with the epitome of average as IWGP Champion, and Matt Taven, who's not that good, being unceremoniously added into the ROH World Title match, and stuff like that. Well, at least Friday night in TakeOver, and thank the Lord they moved this show to Friday night.
Yes.
We get Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, baby, in the main event for the NXT title. That's going to be fucking awesome. That might be the match of the weekend. That's got me fucking pumped up. Woo! That's going to be awesome.
There's not a bad match on that TakeOver.
No.
guess it's not officially announced yet, but I know they're doing Dream versus Riddle for the.
That'd be sweet too, bro.
And then since Baszler's kind of crossed paths with all of them, they're doing a 4-way, which is fine. I mean,
and then we also got then also for the UK side of things, we got Pete Dunne versus Walter.
Shoot.
So I think somebody's chest might actually blow up in that match. So that's gonna be awesome.
Pete Dunne's gonna break.
I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be a great. I think Adam Cole will win because Gargano's on the main roster, but they might throw us a curveball and keep Gargano on there and let him have his token run with the NXT title before he goes to the main roster. Keep him on NXT. Right. They don't know what they're doing with him on the main roster.
And killer tag team of Aleister Black and Ricochet.
Yeah. And New Japan Cup, see, you get an updated bracket. We're down to the.
Determine who.
That's good. Yes, this determines who faces Jay White. We are down to the quarterfinal results. Tomohiro Ishii defeated Yoshihashi. Kazuchika Okada defeated Will Ospreay. Did I say that out loud? Sure, damn right I did. Sonata defeated Colt Cabana. Ending his Cinderella story. And Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Zack Sabre Jr., stopping Zack Sabre Jr. from repeating in the New Japan Cup. Our final four, it is March. It's March Madness going on. Is Tomohiro Ishii versus Kazuchika Okada that's one semifinal match. And Sonata versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. That's the other semifinal match. And one of these four men will wrestle Jay White for the IWGP Championship. All four of these men will have a good match with Jay White. Mm-hmm. I was just kind of hoping to see two of these guys wrestle in main event because they're both better than Jay White and would be a better representation of New Japan Pro Wrestling at Madison Square Garden. But, I guess Gedo feels you got to have a white guy as your champion if you're going to be in the United States. So, there you go.
Good to know his philosophy is not that far off from many minutes.
I don't think that's me being kind of, it's kind of to the point of parody. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's actually how he feels, but it's just kind of how I, like Triple H there, spitting the water.
That's right.
Yep. And, yeah, so that's pretty much everything this week. That is everything in wrestling that is important that happened this week.
That's right. Sorry to any Impact fans out there because I have no idea what's going on over there.
Neither do I. So, yeah, that's it. That is it. Yeah. You got any questions? You got another couple minutes to get them in from our glorious chatters that came in to hang out with us tonight. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Yeah. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I got videos not only from World Pro Wrestling, but from World Comic Books, gaming, and all things geek culture. Follow me on Twitter at athletic_geek89. Go like my Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89. And I'm on Instagram, athleticgeek89. I finally got talked into this Instagram thing, which much like Twitter, I don't get it. But I'm there. So come follow me. And Jedi, however, has none of the social media because he's got kids and a wife and he ain't got time for this shit. Bleed with the Switchblade, no thanks, I will not. Because I think Jay White's average, so I don't want to bleed for him. But that's besides the point.
Very few people in this world that bleed for him.
I was saying this earlier, like, when I hear bleed with the Switchblade, I want to say it like Gedo, but, like, saying it that way is incredibly racist and insensitive, so I refuse to do it. But, like, Gato's way of saying it's just like really cool. So there you go. But for JJ's Cruder, I'm the Athletic Geek. We are just two marks, and we're out. Later.